I'm pregnant with your baby. She lied to stop me from leaving after she cheated. I demanded immediate testing. She admitted to 5 other men, and none of us are the father. I never imagined I'd be sitting in my apartment at 3 a.m., phone in hand, staring at the text that would unravel everything I thought I knew about Lauren. It wasn't the first time she'd done something shocking, but this one hit different. It wasn't a breakup text. It wasn't a fight blown out of proportion. It wasn't even an accusation. It was a weaponized lie meant to chain me in place while she ran free. I'd met her 3 years ago, and back then, love had been a quiet, steady thing. She called me reliable, steady, safe, words that felt warm in the early stages of a relationship, especially when you've been burned before. I wanted to be her anchor. I genuinely did. She made me feel like I mattered in a way that was almost addictive, almost intoxicating. But looking back now, I realize that exactly how she wanted it. Tethered, patient, invested, while she explored every loophole she could in our life together. It started innocently enough, the typical signs I chose to ignore. She'd stay out late, say she was at work, but her social media told a different story. Drinks with friends that no one else knew about. Snapchat stories that appeared for a second, then disappeared. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe I should just trust her. That word, paranoid, became her shield. The moment I asked anything uncomfortable, it was instantly my fault. You're paranoid, Evan. I can't believe you don't trust me. That sentence replayed in my head over and over as I pieced together months of subtle betrayals. And then the cheating started. At least I found out. Multiple guys, texts, calls, random hotel receipts that didn't match any work trip. The small inconsistencies she'd always laughed off now painted a very clear picture. I collected it all quietly, methodically, not because I wanted to punish her, not because I wanted to yell. I collected it because I needed to see it for myself. I needed confirmation before my heart shattered completely. And when I confronted her, she froze, the forked midair, that fake casual laugh nowhere to be found. Her eyes darted, hands trembling slightly, and I knew right then she'd been caught, not by chance, but by inevitability. I told her I knew. Simple, direct, and she tried every trick in the book, denial, gaslighting, then the desperate fake vulnerability. It was just texting, she whispered at first, like a mantra. It didn't mean anything. I could hear the practiced tone in her voice, the careful way she had rehearsed her excuses 1,000 times. You've been distant, she added, trying to twist everything back onto me. But it wasn't about me. It was never about me. She wanted attention, control, the power of drama, and I was the bait who always fell for it until I didn't anymore. And then she said it, the words that made my stomach twist, and I think part of me wanted to believe them. Part of me wanted to explode. I'm pregnant. I froze. I literally stopped breathing for a few seconds. Part of me wanted to run to her, to wrap her up, to tell myself that maybe there was a sliver of truth. But the other, much louder part of me screamed that this was exactly the kind of manipulative move she would make, a last-ditch effort to chain me in place, to buy time, to play the victim while she ran wild elsewhere. I demanded a test. Simple, straightforward, unemotional. You can lie about cheating, but science doesn't lie. Her face changed in a second, the panic replacing the tears she just used to bait me. Are you serious? She said, and I didn't even answer. I just repeated the words. Testing. Verification. DNA. She went from pleading to bargaining in the span of a heartbeat. You don't trust me. You've always been suspicious. I thought we could. I cut her off. I need the truth. Now. And that's when it came out. All of it. The names, the messages, the nights she tried to erase from my memory. 5 other men, none of them sure, none of them important, none of them me. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just sat there, holding the phone, staring at her. The realization hit like a freight train. Every moment I thought she loved me. Every night I stayed up worried about whether I was too distant. Every little hope that we were building a future together. It had been a lie, a construction, a performance she controlled. And somehow, even in that moment, she tried to make me feel guilty for my disbelief, for my logic, for my caution. But I wasn't going to be played anymore. In the days that followed, I did what felt like the only rational thing. I removed her from my life entirely. No calls, no texts, no subtle social media checks. Blocked her, deleted her, burned the bridges she had tried to use to anchor me. Her attempts to contact me were relentless at first. 15 messages in one night. Apologies, tears, threats, even subtle manipulations about mutual friends. I read them, stared at the phone, and then deleted them all. It wasn't hatred. It wasn't revenge. It was sanity. Then, out of nowhere, I got a call. A known number. A man's voice, hesitant, wary. Turns out he was one of the other guys. She'd told him she might be pregnant too. My stomach churned with disgust. He didn't want confrontation. He just wanted to warn me. She was spinning lies to everyone she touched, trying to create a web of confusion, so she could control the narrative. And the truth, the real, raw truth, was even worse. She didn't care who got hurt, so long as she didn't lose attention, control, and an illusion of affection. Months went by. Silence became my ally. My apartment, once filled with tension, became a sanctuary. I focused on myself, my work, my friends, my health. The irony was that in the absence of her chaos, I found peace, a peace that I had forgotten even existed. I didn't post about it online. I didn't seek validation from anyone. I simply existed. And for the first time in years, I could breathe without the weight of deception pressing down on my chest. Eventually, life moved on in its subtle, relentless way. She disappeared from my social feeds, her manipulations failing to catch anyone new. Friends who had been caught in the middle began distancing themselves, recognizing the pattern of deceit. And though a small, irrational part of me wanted to see her humbled, the larger, more rational part of me simply wanted closure. Not the kind that requires words, but the kind that comes from knowing the truth and walking away. Even when I saw her later, across a restaurant, hair overstyled, makeup thick, eyes tired, I felt nothing more than a distant empathy. Not for her, for the person she once pretended to be, the illusion of love that she had sold me for 3 years. She tried the apology again, the rehearsed speech about therapy, change, self-reflection, all of it falling flat against the fortress I had built around my sanity. I didn't respond. I didn't argue. I just walked back inside, sat down, and returned to my life. Quiet, steady, reclaimed. And that's the thing about manipulation, about lies, about betrayal. Closure isn't a conversation. It isn't a confrontation. It isn't even a moment of vindication. Closure is when the storm ends, and you realize you're standing unharmed in the calm that was always there, waiting for you to step into it. She has spent 3 years teaching me patience, endurance, hope, and then used that education to test the limits of deceit. But I learned faster than she expected. I left the classroom. I walked away from the lesson she thought she was giving. And in that act, I found freedom. Not freedom from her, but freedom for myself. Love is quiet. It is respect. And sometimes the kindest, most loving thing you can do for yourself and the person who no longer belongs in your life is to let go fully and never look back. And I hadn't, not once.